Hello, welcome to the EP7 podcast. You are here with Rachel Donovan and the founder of EP7, Mr. George Helou.
Thanks, Rachel, and thank you for joining us. We love talking about how to get the heart into everything we do to get a lot out of life.
Whether it be relationships, business, careers, you name it. So, let's get started. Happy 2018, George.
Yes, Happy New Year to you, Rachel, to you, the listener. It's a new year and it's going to be awesome.
That's right. That's the energy that I feel at the moment from a lot of people that I talk to or that I meet or feel. Like everyone feels kind of renewed and refreshed and wanting to really tackle the year.
Totally.
Yeah, I don't know if it's more so this year than others, but I'm just really feeling it.
I'm a bit of an optimist and I always look to a new year as an opportunity to theme it for what's important to me. And then I theme my years. My theme was with EP7, it was all about training coaches and kicking into making that whole coaching platform a reality. So everything I did was about coaches. The year before that was polishing product and making it really, really professional and reflective of the quality of the product. I wanted the design and the look to be right. That's always a work in progress, but that was the theme, you know?
Yeah.
This year is the theme of marketing coaches. So now that we have coaches trained and some of them on the verge of being certified, others already, you know, like it's all happening. By the time we get into February, we've got certified coaches, a good team, several, and it's all about marketing. And I was already in machine mode, engaged with the web developer. I'm meeting with them tomorrow, the EP7 app on Thursday to review that because I've already got the demo on that. There's lots of things happening. It's all about marketing.
Okay. Wow. And do you do the same thing? That's all sort of more business professional related. Do you have the same thing in personal area? Like health
Totally.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I've been very conscientious of being balanced in my fitness and not overdoing it, I've been stretching every day and I've decided to go back to the body nimbleness and flexibility as when I was in my late 20s. So I've been doing daily stretches, almost like yoga and stuff. And I'm actually loving it. And I'm loving the pain of stretching. And I keep adding new ones. And I'm committed to daily closing my rings. And before you get carried away and think I'm talking rude, it's the Apple Watch exercise rings and movement rings, all right?
Yeah.
I got to tell you, Rach, every now and then the Apple Watch tries to coach you because you're doing well and they say, oh, George, by this time of the day, you've already been much further along on closing your rings. We know you could close your rings like this. And it just feels really, funny to be getting coached by a watch, but using closing your rings as an incentive.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely my fitness, my health, and doing it wisely is a dominant theme for this year.
Okay.
What about you, Rachel?
I like what you're saying there about your theme your years. I haven't done that. But sometimes when I started yoga, it made me think about when I do yoga sometimes, and often they say at the beginning of the class that you set an intention for the class. So whether that be you're thinking of someone or you're thinking, okay, I need to be kind to myself this class or I need to find resilience in this class, whatever it is. So you'll kind of pick that. So I kind of like that idea for the beginning of the year, like what's this year, the intention for the year of that sort of feeling.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you know why? Intention is very powerful. When you set an intention at the beginning of anything, neurologically, what you've done is that you've loaded a lot of meaning and it is able to be held in your frontal lobe of the brain. Now, that is what I've said before is precious real estate. In other words, as you enter a moment, nothing around you can be processed for your experience without going through that frontal lobe intention filter first. So in other words, everything has to relate to that intention before it's defined as your experience.
Okay.
How that translates practically is that you start to notice opportunities in how you can be to serve that intention.
Sure, yeah.
Everything changes. It's like rose-colored glasses, right? It's like if you decide there's opportunities in everything, then you angle to look for it. So if something goes wrong, you think, how can I turn this into an opportunity? Well, that's because the rose-colored glass intention is everything can be changed into an opportunity. So every time there's pain, the pain triggers you into what you can do about it.
How you can learn or how you can...
Yeah, or how you can innovate the situation so that you come out the other side with value out of it.
Yeah.
So, but an intention has to be purpose-based. In other words, your heart has to be truly served. Otherwise, you won't really care for that intention that much. If you're holding that intent because everybody says it's a good idea, yes, in some way there's value for you from it because it's obviously popular and there's value for it for most people. But if you're not building it from the depth of your heart, the intention won't hold long enough and you won't layer it with reasons. So it intensifies your desire to keep that intention in place. And this is the point of making New Year's resolutions stick. You know, why? Why am I doing this? And then, you come up with reasons, right? And then those reasons should be questioned too. You should be able to say, well, why is that important to me? Why should I bother with those reasons? Are those reasons that important to me? And then you'll come up with more reasons for those reasons. And then if you keep going, why, eventually you're going to get to the center of what it means to you and the desire is going to intensify.
Yeah, right.
Why don't we test this?
That's okay. Yeah,
right.
Let's do it.
So let's use you as a guinea pig, all right? So your intention is you're going to become a guinea pig. Just kidding. All right. So what if you were to theme this year, what would be your theme?
Theme of the whole year. The whole year. I really want to make a lot of progress.
Yeah, but that's a nice value, but the theme would be the context where you want that progress to be happening. Do you want to have a baby by the end of the year? Do you want to be married? Do you want to, I don't know.
I want to be making a lot more money in my job, my career.
Money, that old chestnut. Yeah, no, that's cool.
Definitely.
All right, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Which I've never really set as one. So this is just why I've never really made much money, I think, because I just sort of never really,
Yeah, no, this is good. Okay. So one of the biggest problems with money is that it doesn't have a personality. And we often are raised with conditions on money so that we end up giving it a personality with our own attitudes. And if those attitudes are not healthy, we end up avoiding making money a goal or overcooking our attachment to it, which is not healthy either. So why don't we explore how we can go through this why process so that money finally has a place that's healthy and that you're happy to theme for the year, because it's not that you're money hungry. It's no longer a sense of lack that you finally want to plug a hole. It's now finally going somewhere where your heart is truly being satisfied by it.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Okay, cool. All right. So therefore it's about financial well-being, like really kicking your income to another level. Because you've been studying a lot, you've been building experiences in a new industry. This is all building so that that part of your life can be solid, yeah?
Yes, yeah.
All right, cool.
Of course. Yeah.
All right. So why is money going to be important for you?
I feel it will give me a lot more independence. So I'm not relying on others so much, because I have been, and they've been very supportive while I've been going through this period of studying and growth and learning.
Sure.
But I don't want to stay in that place, obviously. So I want to be much more independent and be able to stand on my own 2 feet a lot more.
Sure. So what does that mean? Like, in other words, describe the excitement from the benefits of being independent.
I'm more free to do what I want to with choices.
Yeah. So now, where do you want to live and where do you want to travel?
Yeah. Where do I want to live? I want to live in Balmain, and I want to travel to Europe.
Yes.
To America.
Yeah.
Lots of places, yeah.
Okay. So travel, and your home is now Balmain. Mm-hmm. Cool. Now, what does living in Balmain mean to you?
Well, I love the area. I love the people and the community.
Why do you love the people in the community?
I love the feel around the area. I think it's beautifully, all the old buildings. I love the community feel there when you go to the markets or walking around the streets. It feels like a home, because I've spent a bit of time around there and I really feel at home there.
You do, huh? And let's pause for a second. Let me explain that what happens to us is that while we feel what we love about things, if we don't get the brain to start to join the ideas into a texture of what we're feeling, the brain can't be a servant. You see, by me asking you all these questions, you're having to intellectualize why you feel so much love and connection in the context of community, in the context of architecture. There's a sense of history, there's a sense of beauty for you. And the beauty for you is about the style of architecture that's renowned for Balmain. And why is that? And then you're going to go into that. And eventually you're going to get to a point where you're crystal clear. You're crystal clear why you love Balmain. From the community to the food to the good times that get created because of specific environments like ABC. Now suddenly living in Balmain, the intensity of that desire has gone to another level because you were able to imagine in more detail what you're choosing to be entangled with, and that feeds the heart. The heart grows in desire, tells the brain, more of that please, more of that please. And the brain goes, well, geez, okay, all right already. Because the brain has been tricked into thinking this is a life or death situation. Balmain or death.
Right.
Now, I know this sounds funny, but the brain is that dumb. Like, it really, if you immerse it in something and say, this is important, they're going, oh my gosh, this is important. And if we don't get this, bad things are going to happen. And the brain subconsciously prioritizes it. Because its number one priority first is to keep you alive. And if you have forced it to be immersed in something important, it doesn't have a moral compass. It doesn't orientate very well around what is right and wrong. So it can make things important that really aren't and pretend that. This is why we can stress about bullshit. So what I'm saying is we have to use the brain in its weaknesses as an opportunity to exploit for our purpose.
Yeah.
So we might as well do that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, definitely.
What else do you want money for?
To be able to travel.
Ah. So you said Europe and then you said America.
Yeah, so it's Europe the first place I want to go to.
Yeah.
And then America another time, Mexico, yeah.
Tell me about the excitement of what happens to you when you're traveling in places like Europe.
I feel that I come alive even more. I love discovering new places and meeting new people and the adventure and learning about new cultures and getting up every day and just going out and just seeing where the day and night takes you. You don't have to go to work and you just discover things and just kind of, it's almost like you're, I don't know, in another world.
Yeah, I mean, adventure, we're expanded in these ways, aren't we? Like trying foods, having taste sensations for the very first time, watching people proud of creating something that takes days or, prep work, and it's been around for several hundred years or thousands of years in their tradition, and it's a signature dish or, something, and then they're so proud to share it with you, and then when you experience it, it blows your mind, and you get to understand why something has been passed down from generation to generation. And now you're touching the depth of quality around the world in its infinite forms. Is this what travel does? Our hearts touch kindred spirits that are expressing in such beautiful ways, and we get to be expanded and be a part of more and more of the beauty of the world.
Yeah. But I think it's also the beauty of the new experiences. You can love your job and love what you're doing, but when your senses are heightened when you're in totally new surroundings and everything's new, smells new, feels new, looks new. So it's like a child again. A child, how everything is beautiful and interesting because it's new. So you get to feel like that again.
Wow. So you get ultra present. Yes. And it allows you to, your emotions really get satisfied because of that again. Because
heightened.
Your head isn't numbing or filtering because you're being distracted by what you need to do tomorrow for your usual routine at home. Suddenly you can just be totally with the moment. And what happens to us when we're totally in the moment? We go deeper. We go deeper into the experience. We're touched more deeply by it.
And that's incredible.
There seems to be a running theme that when I was trying to understand your Balmain, you valuing living there and then travel, it seemed that the more we went into the detail of why, the more exciting it got. And travel does that. We allow ourselves to go deep into that whole. It's the full experience, being totally immersed, all our senses. And we generally aren't doing that in our everyday. We've been distracted by smartphones or dumb phones, whatever you want to call them. And like I was saying, our worry of, I need to do this, is that person's okay? Do I need to sort this out? And that fractures us from the moment. And travel has so much going for it. Can you see, like, suddenly your financial well-being better be prioritized?
Yeah.
Because travel shouldn't be an option. It should be an absolute necessity.
Absolutely. I am terrible. Because I get so caught up in life and day to day that I don't plan a trip, and then a year goes by and I haven't planned anything, and I'm looking at everyone else's photos thinking, oh my gosh, why didn't I do that? Yet when I'm away and I'm doing it, I am so happy and I'm absolutely loving it. And then without, like you just did, with looking at the detail, I very much so then lose touch with how it feels when I'm there, and I just get completely just sucked into day-to-day life, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and I just kind of then don't detail and prioritize it at all.
Do you know what's amazing, Rachel? Every time I've been in a car that a friend had or whatever situation, I ended up buying that car either 6 months later or 2 years later or 5 years later. It didn't matter. And I've done this for the last 4 cars that I've purchased. When I was in Germany, we went to BMW World. I had no idea that me being close up with these beautiful cars, I've had BMWs before, and I love them, but I had no idea that I would actually 6 months later buy a BMW back home. And when I bought the BMW, it was only a month or 2 later or 3 months later that I realized the impact BMW had on me, on my subconscious, and how it ushered me into, because there was no plans. And if you said to me, George, you're going to buy a BMW by the end of this year, I would have looked at you and go, yeah. And I just thought it's such a lovely thing to entertain, but it's very irresponsible at this stage because I've got a lot of other financial goals and commitments. But the way it unfolded, it was a no-brainer with my tax and work and the leverage of a package to make that a company car. It was a no-brainer with the numbers. So it became an option. And so this is it. How do we get into the details? For a holiday, do you look at the brochures? Do you watch YouTube videos? What do you do to get excited about the uniqueness of your Europe trip? Even looking at places in Balmain.
Yeah.
And starting to literally build that emotional entanglement with options. Suddenly the brain starts to look at what you need to do in your life to end up there. And it will do it subconsciously for you.
But even so, when, say, something like living in Balmain, for me, I look at that and go, I feel like it's quite a reach from where I am financially now to be able to do that. So that can often be quite a sort of, when you look at it like that, becomes a bit of a reaching too far out of my, what's possible, or how can I really make it happen?
Yeah, no, I totally appreciate that, and I'm glad you brought that up. You see, like when I was at BMW World, I thought the same thing, but I wasn't saying to myself consciously, yeah, George, come on. Don't start thinking that you can push for one now. It was just an automatic arm's length. Yeah, one day soon, I am heading in the right direction to get myself into high levels of BMWs because I like speed and I like luxury. And all right. But here's the thing. You got to give yourself permission to flow there. You got to give yourself permission to innovate and reinvent yourself so you become compatible and compress time. You see, the one thing that blew my mind when I was doing purpose development narrative with clients is that the moment they narrated themselves in a situation where they were enjoying something, they then realized that they could become something that could make it come much quicker. But it was only when they went there did they have to confront what compatibility issues existed, and their desire and their flow made that compatibility very real for them. So enjoy that natural organic flow there, whether it's meant to happen next month, by the end of the year, mid next year. Know that you are optimizing your journey there if you start loving the details and enjoying that visual smorgasbord of gratification of what's important to you and why. Yeah?
Yeah.
So I think what we take from this New Year's resolution theme that we're talking about is that if you theme your year and you richly immerse yourself in why you would want it, and it's important to you, then let your flow start to guide you. You'll start to see things you never did before. You'll start to lose your desire for maintaining habits that are in conflict, in contradiction to that journey that will keep you from it. Suddenly, you're just naturally maneuvering in a way that makes you get there. And it's not about a structured control freak time thing. It's about realizing everything cycles, and you have to play the role of getting there by honoring, holding a dominant theme in your brain that this is important to you and that there is a process and you want to be a part of that process now.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, George. Thanks for kicking off the 2018 podcast with a good one.
Let's make it happen.
Thanks for listening, and we will talk to you soon.
All right. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us on another EP7 podcast. If you liked what you heard, remember to share and subscribe so you're notified of every podcast released. If you have any questions or would like to connect with us, please jump on the EP7 official Facebook page. We'd love to hear from you.